This is Jamie Drummond from Good Food Revolution. I am joined all the way from San Francisco, one of our favorite Argentinians, Ms. Laura Catena. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you very much for joining us today. Of course, the question on everyone's mind, how are you doing? Are your family safe and well?
Yes, so my immediate family, my husband and my two children, two of them are here with me. The other one actually has stayed near his school to attend school remotely. He's in Boston. And then my siblings are in, my brother's in Argentina, my sister's in London, and their children. And we've quarantined my parents, my mom and my dad.
Okay.
They are all alone in this little house in the vineyard, and they're not allowed to see anybody. And the daily conversation is about how my mom has finally been able to get my father to do pretty much all the housework.
Oh, that's a bonus. So you're in San Francisco right now, but you were trying to get back to Argentina. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I am now in San Francisco, but I had been to Argentina for harvest in February, and then I came back to San Francisco on my way to Pro Wine, which was canceled,
Yes.
and then I was going to go back to Argentina for the rest of the harvest, but I ended up staying here. But I have to say, I've never talked so much to my team during harvest because there were so many things happening,
Yeah.
from, the quarantine being declared. There were a couple of hours where my team thought they would not be allowed to harvest. So we had about 80% of the harvest in, but some of our best grapes were not in yet because this was mid-March. Usually our harvest is finished early May. However, this year came in very early because it was very dry and it was warmer in the winter. And so we were 3 to 4 weeks early, fortunately. But regardless of this, for a couple of hours, we thought we were going to have to leave the grapes on the vine
Oh,
until, winemaking was declared an essential industry, and we were able to finish our harvest, fortunately, which was a good one. A low yields, but a very good one. So I've been talking to my team, from early in the morning to late at night.
so I was just remembering that you actually have a medical background, do you know?
I've been an emergency medicine physician for 30 years,
Yes, yes, yes.
and I finished medical school in 1992, so almost. You know, it's I actually worked my last shifts in the emergency department last year because it was almost a gift to my father for his 80th birthday that I would completely dedicate myself to the winery. Um, and then literally I was transitioning to working at a homeless clinic here in San Francisco for, when I'm not in Argentina, and it was closed because of COVID, because they couldn't really keep up with all the precautions. And so right now I'm acting as the doctor to my staff in Argentina, which actually is very important work. You know, Keeping your staff, the people who work with you safe is a big job.
How have you changed your processes and procedures to mitigate any kind of spread of this particular pathogen?
Yeah, so we've changed everything. And as you might know, Argentinians are very physical people. We kiss each other. When you walk into a room,
Oh,
you
as
know,
in
and you
tactile. Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, you kiss every person. You share mate, mate with the straw. It's a drink that we have in Argentina, and the traditional way to drink it is you pass it around and everybody sips from the same straw.
I never thought.
We are, yeah, we're used to eating lunch every day at the winery. We have lunch together, sitting in a big table,
Yeah.
two big tables, and all of that is gone. We're wearing masks at the office. For example, the people who pay the bills and stuff like that, we only have one person coming in every day, and the other people stay at home. In terms of the bottling line, we're slowing things down. People are staying as far away as possible, but we're cleaning everything every 2 hours. We have all these stations for hand cleaning, masks. We take temperatures on all our staff as they walk in. to the winery. People who were harvesting were having to harvest a lot more slowly
Yes.
because usually it's kind of run, 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 run. And now you couldn't have people be together. So really everything about how we make wine, we run the winery has changed.
Perhaps it's just as well it's a smaller harvest.
Oh, absolutely. Not just that it was a smaller harvest, but the fact that it came in a month earlier.
Right.
If we, because normally by mid-March, only about half of the harvest would be in.
Yeah.
And, we make a lot of wine. Argentina is the fifth largest producer of wine in the world. To have had only, to have had to do half of the harvest under these conditions would have been extremely difficult.
I have a question I've really wanted to ask you, and it was one of the reasons I wanted to do this interview, which is with your medical background, you have a unique perspective upon the ways that both the United States and Argentina are managing the ongoing pandemic. May I throw that out there too?
Yeah. Yeah, so mostly my medical practice has been in the United States, and
Yes.
then Argentina is all about wine. And I'll tell you that when I started working as a physician, it was the time of the AIDS pandemic,
Oh, yes.
and I actually acquired tuberculosis in the hospital, and there's a little, big white spot in my lungs because of this. So
Really?
I kind of had the firsthand experience of getting exposed to something. Unfortunately, it was detected, and I was able to get treatment. I had to take 4 drugs for 6 months, but there was a very good treatment for tuberculosis. But comparing California to Argentina, in terms of the medical technology, in Argentina we have very good hospitals and very good medical care, but there's it's more I would say extreme in the sense that some people get very high level care and other people get much more basic care.
Right.
So there's kind of a big difference between, some of the more private, for things like trauma, the public hospitals are the best. I think it's like that in most of the world. But there's some treatments that are that there's almost like a big socioeconomic difference.
Yeah, I can
In the
imagine.
US, it's the healthcare system is phenomenal. It's incredible, how good it is. I mean, there's access to everything. And really for anybody, there is a problem with health insurance, which that would be a
I
whole,
wasn't going to mention that, but yes, that's
we
for a
would
conversation
be,
offline. Yes.
we could be talking for 4 hours. And that to me is a big problem, that there's still people who are not covered in such a wealthy country. That's a tragedy. This country has to the US has to figure out how to have healthcare for everybody. But the level of healthcare is phenomenal. Now, in Argentina, because the healthcare system would be overwhelmed so quickly, because there's not as many ICU beds per person and availability of medication in
Of course.
general, Argentina has been extremely strict in terms of the quarantine. So basically, Argentina closed the whole country when there were less than 100 cases, no deaths. And currently, a month into the quarantine, Mendoza has under 100 cases and 9 deaths, and it's already been a month, and people have been in quarantine. And it's also summer.
How
So
strict is the lockdown, and how well are people observing the lockdown regulation?
yeah, well, I think Argentina has been very influenced by Italy, because so many Argentines have Italian family.
Of course.
70% of Argentines have Italian descent. And so people were terrified, and they're following all the rules. And in fact, the system is very strict. Only people working in essential industries can actually leave their house to go anywhere, and they have to show they're going to work, and you need a special permit. Only one person from a family can go food shopping, for example. 2 people can't go together. You have to wear masks. Kids cannot leave the house to go for a walk. So Argentina has been way more strict than, I would say, California,
That,
where
that was probably
yeah,
quite judicious because of that kind of fragile healthcare system, right? So,
Absolutely. So I think with a fragile healthcare system, that's the right thing to do. And I have to say, I think the government has been very well informed. The government is really sticking to what the doctors and the public health officials advise.
mhm,
I've actually been very impressed by the government's response in terms of the medical response has been, I think, really good. I'm a little worried about what will happen as the winter starts because the country cannot remain closed because of the economy, and there's so many people without jobs that I don't know what's going to happen. But so far, I think the extreme measures that the government has taken have been good. They are starting to open some businesses towards the end of the month and next month, and we'll see how that goes. In California, I think California has been one of the best run responses in the US.
right.
It started fairly early. People are being very careful. Most people are out with masks. Those images you saw of the Florida beaches with everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Most people who are going to the beach are staying far apart.
Oh,
At least now. I think at the beginning, some people were being a little relaxed, but there was a lot of notices sent by text phone, on the TV, and right now, people are staying far apart. People are staying at home, but you can basically go for a walk in the park near your house. You can walk for an hour, 2 hours, and nobody's going to stop you. And so I think that California has definitely been less strict. In terms of the hospitals, I'm in San Francisco, and there's definitely been deaths. It's very sad. I mean,
yes.
even one death is a horrendous thing, if it's the death of your loved one. But the case numbers in San Francisco has been quite low.
There was a great worry that with San Francisco's homeless population, that there could be a real crisis there. How has the Californian government and San Francisco managed that particular issue?
Well, so they are offering now hotel rooms to the homeless population. So several hotel chains have made arrangements with the California government, and
Mm.
so homeless people are being offered hotel rooms pretty widely, and also food is being provided and brought to their rooms.
Oh, that's good to know.
Now, there have been some cases in some of the homeless shelters, and that's being managed, with quarantines. But this idea of using hotel rooms, which is actually happening, they were talking about it a lot, but I believe that it actually started to go into effect this week.
That's
I think that that's a very good measure, and I'm very proud of all those hotels,
good.
joining the effort.
One last question for you, and a kind of a tongue-in-cheek question. But your thoughts about the US President's healthcare advice last night regarding disinfectant and ultraviolet light?
I'm kind of speechless. I had to.
Me
I
too.
actually. I first heard about it and I said, no, it can't be true,
Yeah,
because I heard some commentator, and then I actually heard him say it. And I mean, it's rather extraordinary because the United States is such an incredible country with so many smart scientists. But I'm a real believer in democracy. And honestly, when somebody says something so ignorant, I would hope that people would hear it and decide, you know, we should not vote for this person. I don't vote. I vote in Argentina, so
right.
I'm a bystander. But that was really the worst I've heard so far.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, out of all the things, and there've been bad things, that was rather extraordinary. And I don't think that will be forgotten by any of the people who are alive today.
Yeah. Let's hope not. Laura Catena, it's absolutely wonderful. Rather, Laura. Sorry, I always pronounce that incorrect.
Laura.
Thank you so much for joining us at Good Food Revolution this evening, and I hope you have a marvelous weekend. We look forward, once all of this is over, we look forward to sharing a glass of wine with you here in Toronto.
And no, and thank you, actually, Canadians, for drinking our wine. You know, the liquor board actually has ordered our wines, and
The LCBO.
we just, yeah, the LCBO, and we just released some very special wines, and they were bought within a few hours. And I can't tell you how grateful, because thanks to you buying my wine, I can keep on, paying my salaries, paying for the grapes, you know, doing everything we need to do to make great wine. And there's so many families that depend on us,
Yep.
keeping on selling this wine. So I'm very thankful for Canada as a country, that they're drinking wine in moderation, I hope.
In moderation, you always have to say that. Laura, take care of
Yes.
yourself, okay? And we'll hopefully speak to you very
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye for now.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay.